Good morning, mathematics. This is our first of many, hopefully, mathematics coffee chat. Got my coffee here, and I think this is a cup during quarantine. I don't know. I dug it out of my garage in one of the bins that were in there because quarantine turned me into a hazelnut loving coffee made coffee drinker. So I am a Folgers drinker. And really, to be honest, I've never bought my own cup of uh, Starbucks coffee. I know a lot of people, should be investing in stock in Starbucks, but I have never had a cup of Starbucks coffee. And it's so funny because when I was in DC at a conference with National Board certification, we had they were doing a teacher of color convening, kind of just bringing us all together, and they had Starbucks coffee, and I was like, "Whoa!" it's really, 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 really strong. So, but I am so happy to start this off this morning because I never get a chance to, hi, Jonette, to talk to my audience in just a more informal way. And I'm just kind of talk about what goes on in my day to day life, in kind of like, not a vlog style, but kind of a chat back and forth. And it's just, I thought it was necessary because a lot of people see me as this huge person, and I'm not. I am just a teacher who's crazy about mathematics, to the point where it gives me chill bumps. And I wanted to share that love with everyone. I'm a t shirt wearing, keep my hair back in a ponytail type of person. I used to play basketball, so I'm very, very low key when it comes to wardrobe. And if you see me dressed up, you know it's a huge occasion because I am a t-shirt, shorts type of chick, and that's what I do. But thank you so much for being here. And let me get my little applause because I know some of us are up really, really early. I know I'm up most days at 5, even when I don't try to. So I was like, well, let me start my day out talking to people and talking about things that are going on in my life. So the first thing first, this is going to be a 30-minute chat, and we'll talk about, just different things, and I'll be watching my chat, so I'll answer questions from the chat. And so pandemic, oh my god, this past school year was something. I don't know what it was, but it was something. And I could not wait until the end of the school year. As a matter of fact, we started 2 years, I mean, not 2 years, 2 weeks late, which put us 2 weeks behind after our original. Like, I've been teaching 20 years and I've had 20 years of getting out in May. And I think my body went into shock because I was in school until June 14th. And let's not even talk about testing. Testing was the worst that I had ever experienced in my entire life. And I've been in a testing grade level, I know, since my third year teaching. So I don't know anything different, but it was the worst. My feet were killing me. And it was just, I don't know. This school year was was crazy. It really was. Um, yeah, I think sometimes that's YouTube that kind of freezes like that. So that's where I am. Let me go over here and see, make sure everything's okay. So that was, post the pandemic. I could not wait until the end of the school year because it was a lot. It really was. So this summer, what I am doing, I am brushing up on some other things, really thinking about because we got out late and I'm not accustomed to getting out that late. So it's like July will be here in what, next week? And it is the craziest thing. So what I've been thinking about is how are we going to get these children back on track? I was in a group, I want to say last week, and the teacher was saying in summer school that the kids were used to, now that they were on computers at home, but now since they're at school and some of them are still, you know, extending the computer time, and the kids have gotten accustomed to playing music while while they're working. Now I'm gonna tell you that's a no-no in my book. I don't allow children to I don't allow them to play music while they're in my on class. I know some teachers allow them to do that, but that's not my thing. It really isn't. And I've been thinking, I was talking to a friend of mine. I was like, how are we going to get these kids back on track? How are like it's going to be bananas because they really have created some bad habits at home, like really not paying attention when they're supposed to pay attention, and then being able to get, go to the restroom when they feel like it, like it's those little things that we really are not thinking about. And I was like, oh my God, it's going to be crazy. I know my high school kids, they have, you know, gotten used to just going to work when they feel like it, taking off school when they feel like it. It has been a roller coaster year for them, and they, school may not be school, or you may want to try some different things after, next school year, and thinking about, how you're going to approach this year. And that's what I've been thinking about because I'm going to be teaching eighth grade math next year. And it's not going to be the same startup procedure because normally I can get started pretty quickly. But I feel like I'm going to be beneath the learning curve um, when the school year begins. I don't know how other teachers feel about that, but yeah, I think I'm going to be beneath the learning curve. And um, I don't know. It's going to be crazy. So that's some of the stuff that I've been just kind of bouncing around in my head. How do we approach this new school year? And then, just with the learning gaps, I know they call them learning loss, but I'm not a fan of that word learning loss or those words learning loss because that implies that they actually learned something and then lost it. But um, I don't agree with that. Some people may say, yeah, they agree with it. but I don't, because our kids, a lot of our kids are missing. I know on Twitter for our school district, they were talking about um, the how the black kids, only 26% of black kids passed our STAR test. I was like, well, we teach math. So I'm like, well, percentages are, they're pretty much, deceptive when you don't have the total 26% of how many. Because I know in my school, a lot of them didn't show up to take the test. So, how can we even look at this data and say that it's true? And that's one of the things that, kind of just like, if the kids weren't there, and how are we going to use this data to drive instruction? Personally, I think the data is invalid and it's skewed, and it's something that should not be used to drive any kind of instruction, because children weren't there. I can tell you for a fact that they weren't there, and other teachers can probably attest to this, that they weren't there. A lot of the teachers, you know, um, said that a lot of their children and parents were scared and did not allow their children to come to school for the STAR test, and or even just standardized tests. And I know we heard in the press that some kids went to take the test and ended up getting exposed um, to the coronavirus. So that was some of the stuff that I've been thinking about as we move back into, this whole school thing. And then, the trying to penalize us for the data from last year. I know the state of Texas, it has some weird ways of dealing with data, and they're talking about it was bad. Well, you know, what did you expect? Some of the kids were there, some didn't. It didn't, the kids that didn't show up and were virtual, they didn't have to come take the test, and it didn't count against them. Now, in high school, they had to take their end of course test, obviously for graduation, but if they didn't take it, they just took it, would take it at another time or a later date. So that's some of the things that we're going to have to actually look at for next school year. How are we approaching this thing? And then we have all this influx of money coming into the school districts. My school district is going to get $804 million. And this is going to be the most difficult thing. How do we spend this money? So I know even with my math intervention group, it has been growing, because I've seen a lot of the teachers that are coming into the group are saying, well, I'm a new math interventionist. I for next school year, this is my first year doing this. So a lot of these schools are scrambling to um actually get this stuff together. So that is going to be the craziest thing with this whole pandemic. Well, we call it post pandemic. That's it's gonna be different, if I can say that. And different is really an understatement. Um, it's not something that, I'm looking over at my other feed. It's not something that we can, I don't even know what the word is. Even can we prepare for it? Tell me in the chat if we can we prepare for what's to come next school year as it pertains to teaching math? Really just even thinking about gaps, and that's my thing that I do. I'm like, how am I going to prepare for this? This is something that I haven't had to deal with in years. And then on top of that, we have a teacher shortage. Our school district is hemorrhaging with teacher vacancies, and urban school districts have a hard time attracting teachers anyway. So, you know, how are we going to deal with that? So it's just a lot of different questions. And then on top of that, the states and the federal government, they are not letting up on these tests. So how do we deal with that? What are some things that we can do to prepare ourselves? It's not that anymore. It's just not. And I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. So, you know, what do you all think about, this upcoming school year? I know I've been seeing teachers working on their classrooms already, because I know the state of Georgia, they start early. And I know that's going to be a huge jump for them. So I don't know how we're going to address this whole, post-pandemic education world. I don't know. So, that's something that I've really been thinking about just this whole year, because it's going to be crazy. So, those are some of the things in my mind, that have been racing, and then how to prepare for my audience, you all, some of the things to help you all prepare for, this upcoming school year, which would definitely be helpful if, you reached out to me. I have Teresa Hash. Whoop whoop. She's my number one fan, because she messaged me yesterday, and was telling me how grateful she was that she to have me in, part of her professional learning network. So, if you have anything that you need, just let me know. Okay, teachers need time to decompress and regroup. Firstly, definitely, because I was on the verge of I I might I checked out. I'm gonna be honest with you. Before June came, I was gone. My classroom, because I'm switching schools. My classroom was packed up before the end of the school year. I had taken all my stuff home. It was so bad, and I don't, maybe new teachers, did well with it, but like the teachers who have been teaching for a while, we were all walking around like, why are we still in school? Like, it was crazy. So we do. And I told a lot of teachers, and I know some teachers need the money. I was like, I would not be teaching summer school. I was told at my high school that um, they were had to teach 2-hour blocks. There is no way that I could actually do that. There's not any way that I could to do that, because like you said, Johnette, we need to decompress and regroup, because we're facing a monumentous, task coming back for consultants, as well as teachers, administrators. We all are going to be scrambling, because these kids, a lot of our children, have not been in school. So intentional planning, collaboration are critical. Focusing on major work of the grade and sprinkling many lessons, yes, to address the gaps. And that's one of the things that, like, if you're a math teacher, and especially if you're new to the content or new to a grade level, um, you're going to have to get in a professional learning network like mine. Be a part of a community where you can ask questions and get support. I don't think, because the schools are going to be in, what is that word? It's not desperation. It's going to be like a reactive mode. So sometimes some of the stuff that you are used to getting may not be there. So this was a conversation I was having on Twitter about how to spend this money, ESSER funds that are coming from the federal government. Like every school is going to have a different need. So some of these schools, we can't hire new teachers. You can't get what you don't have. Some some schools, I mean, we don't have a lot of teachers. In math, I was talking to a friend of mine, and he was telling me that um, he got 4 offers as a math teacher. Like it is a shortage. Everybody is looking for math teachers. And it was a shortage before the pandemic, and with a lot of the teachers retiring and a lot of teachers just leaving the profession, we're going to have work cut out for us. And I if I can't encourage you encourage you enough to get in a group, whether it be on Facebook, on Twitter, have a group outside of your school district where you can get different perspectives. And that's what I did. It helped a lot when I was trying to implement thinking routines. Um, I met a lady from Michigan, and she helped me so much with thinking routine. I had never laid eyes on her. So what we did is um I would film my lesson, well, I would, and send it to her in Messenger, and she would help me adjust it. So that's one way that you can get the support that you need. If you are a math teacher and you're the only math teacher, been there, done that. It is not easy. Definitely get in a Facebook group. My Facebook group is open. Let me grab the link. going to put it in the chat on Facebook. It's called Math Intervention with the Ignited Teacher. And it's a group. If I'm in there, but there are other teachers in there that can help you with content knowledge, because that's what math intervention. It's a mix of content knowledge and pedagogical um, content knowledge, addressing deficits and difficulties with research-based strategies that actually work with the demographic of students that you're um, working with. So let me grab that, and I'm going to put it in a chat. So if it's something that you're looking for, a professional learning group, it's called Math Intervention with the Ignited Teacher. So, for math support, what are your thoughts about partnering with local universities, college who are majoring in math or math education? That will work. You know what? One of my best years, I forgot the name of that group that the school brought in, and I had tutors, but they were math majors. One was an engineer, but you know what? They were so helpful. And I was wondering, like if you have a strong teacher who can guide them, because that's what they did. So in Texas, fifth grade, they take the test twice. So the ones that didn't pass it on the first round, they go through remediation, and then on the set, they take it again. So what I do is I train them, and the guy who was there, he actually took my groups and did my remediation based on what I taught him. I mean, I gave him the stuff to review with them. I looked at the students' data to see where they were struggling at. But I think that's a good idea, as long as they have someone to guide them and show them, first of all, the strategies and the vocabulary to use with the students. They get community service hours, and some of them may aspire to pursue a teaching career. Yeah. I mean, I think the more time they spend in the classroom, because the the media paints this ugly picture of, schools, and it's not. It's, y'all know, it's not like that. Come on. But, it just depends on what perspective and who they're working with, cuz I know some of the tutors that I was working with said that they had like some some rough stories. But yeah, I run a tight ship, so it was a lot different in my classroom and their experience with other teachers or other schools, I guess. I don't know. But I'm all for it. Because if you want to come volunteer in my classroom, I'm open. I will work with you, and I will definitely welcome you with open arms into my classroom, because I can't have enough hands, especially with the demographic of students that I work with. It's a lot. It really is. And the more support they have, their self-efficacy increases, the more confidence they is built on both ends, the person that's helping with the children. And I can't say any more about it. It's a good, if you have a good partnership, it works. It really does. um I was a co-teach. I was the sped co-teach. I don't know why. I ever when I went to middle school, they I became the special ed person. So that was part of, I guess it was my calling, because I ended up with all the special ed children since 2007. My first year, I had a new principal. As a matter of fact, she passed away, I guess, 5, 6 years ago, and she made me the co-teach teacher for fifth grade. Then I went to sixth grade in middle school, and I was the co-teach for those children as well. And that has been me. Me and the special ed department have become fast friends, and those are my people. So if you can get a good collaboration there, it will be most beneficial for um, the students. So I am going to wrap this up. If you, I see some people have, other people have joined us. This is the first mathematics coffee chat, and I will be on every fourth Saturday. Probably more than that during the school year. I might come on another another Saturday, because school years get intense. Because I feel like January comes start time and testing, I'm gonna need somebody to some woo time, is the what they call it, to talk about you know, things that are going on, and just kind of see what's going on in you all's lives, so we can get to know each other and, you know, support each other through this upcoming school year, because I think it's going to be a doozy. I really do. So, for those of you all who are watching, Janette's on here. There are three other people watching. Just say hi in the chat. Tell me where you're from, where you're teaching, or I mean, what grade level you're teaching in the state that you teach in. And thank you for tuning in. You all, I'm looking forward to this chat again, because like I said, I never get to chat with people. I always, either it's in a conference setting, or I'm passing in my math intervention community, but it's never just something real informal to talk about, like I'm a real person. A lot of people is like, but you got it together. I don't always have it together, and sometimes my lessons fall apart just like yours. They do, because I am implementing things, strategies, with kids that I haven't met, and sometimes it just doesn't work. And I want to be transparent about those things, those struggles that I deal with, just like you. Although I've been doing it longer, the struggle is still the same. So, you all have a wonderful rest of your Saturday, and I will see you all in my next mathematics chat. Bye bye.